You've probably heard that old presidential saying, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Well, when it comes to your Toastmasters Club, I want you to ask both. Ask what you can do for your Toastmasters Club and what your Toastmasters Club is doing for you. You're all here because you wanted to improve your communication and leadership skills. Most people join for speaking lately, is what we found. But more and more people are joining for the leadership skills. How many of you joined because you were afraid of speaking in public? Raise your hand. Anyone afraid? A couple? How about you're not so much afraid, but you want to get better at speaking in public? Most of you. And anyone joined for leadership skills? And a couple too. And some overlaps. Good. Because both of these aspects of the Toastmasters communication and leadership program are critical to success, and they really help you in your real lives. I said this before at officer training, so if you've been to one, you've probably heard it before, but I really like it. So a phrase I've heard: you don't become good at Toastmasters to be good at Toastmasters. You don't become good at Toastmasters to be good at your Toastmasters meeting. You become good at Toastmasters to be good at whatever you do when you leave the meeting. You become good at Toastmasters so that you can be a better communicator with your family, with your friends. You can do better in the office, or with your new company, or a community or religious organization that you're part of. That's why you learn communication and leadership skills in Toastmasters, is to bring them outside. The communication skills, I think, are kind of more obvious. If you're afraid of speaking, obviously the first step is to speak. If you need to improve, getting feedback on your communication skills is really, really valuable. The one that may not be so obvious is the leadership side. The first aspect of leadership is communication. You can't lead anyone unless you can tell them what you want. So the communication is critical in leadership skills. But there's other things that we do in Toastmasters that help leadership as well. There's a study recently by a little company called Google. Some of you guys have heard of it. And they did a study on management. And of course, what does Google do? They handle data. So they mined all the data they could find to find out what makes a good manager at Google. And they're looking at technical managers in this case. So they looked at all the performance reviews and the surveys they could find, and they came up with 8 characteristics of a good Google manager. And of the 8, the bottom one on the list, the least important of the 8 important factors, was technical skills. And this surprised a lot of people, because people at Google thought that to be a good manager at Google, you needed to have better technical skills than all your employees so that you could guide them to the best technical solution. So that was important, but it was the least on the list. About number 5 was communication skills. Generally, you had to be able to communicate your goals, your vision, and so on. You want to know what number 1 was? Being a coach. Being a good coach was the number 1 leadership skill. And I thought, what does being a coach mean? It's listening, giving feedback, evaluations, right? Being a good role model, being a mentor to the person, helping them move forward, take the next step, do better at what they are doing the next time. And doesn't that sound a lot like what we do in Toastmasters? It's a lot of what we do as members and what we do as officers, helping the club move forward, helping our members move forward. So it struck me that these things that we do every day, we don't always think about as leadership skills, but the things you're learning in Toastmasters are taking you to that next level. You're able to learn those communication skills, but also those leadership skills that help you in your everyday life. You know, in a district leader role, I get a chance to start some new clubs and work with new clubs that are forming. And a lot of times, everyone's really gung-ho about Toastmasters, and sometimes people don't know what it is. And every so often, I get usually like a newer employee or new college grad or maybe one of the college students who says something like, I don't need to know public speaking because I'm an engineer or an accountant or something, but around here usually an engineer. And I always say, oh, okay, I understand you're new, right? Because in the real world, even if you're an engineer or an accountant or someone who sits at their desk most of the day, you still have to communicate. I usually say things like, do you speak to anyone during the day? Well, yeah, that's good. Are you speaking to yourself? No, okay, that's public speaking. You're speaking to other people, right? So those skills that you use in just speaking are actually not just when you're up in front of a big group like this, or you're the CEO of your company. They're When you're in a project review meeting and somebody asks a question, how are you doing on that project? Or when you need to ask for budget, you need to convince someone to do your proposal versus somebody else's proposal. Those are all chances for communication. And I think sometimes we forget that. So when you're dealing with your clubs, if people have these questions, hopefully these are some things that might help motivate them or help them continue with their Toastmasters education. Because what they learn in Toastmasters, they take out to the real world. Those speaking skills, listening skills, giving feedback to others are really important in your everyday life. And don't forget it. As you go through leading your club, take through your speeches, giving evaluations, remember how those are helping you. So ask not just what you can do for your club, because you can have a huge impact on the members of your club, but also remember what your club can do for you.